I hear people all the time ask, what can I eat on the keto diet for breakfast that is not eggs because I'm sick and tired of eggs? Well, you're in luck because not only have I made recipes in the past that you can check out, such as pancakes, which I'll link up here, but today we have pigs in a blanket, also known as kolaches. More information coming up. But before we begin, if this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Kathy Dean with Healthy Ambitions, a YouTube channel and website dedicated to the ketogenic diet. If you like watching how keto recipes are made, then make sure you subscribe to my channel. And if you click the bell notification next to the red subscribe button, you'll be notified every time I upload a video. All right, guys, let's go check out the ingredients first. All right, the ingredients for a pig in a blanket. The blanket part is actually just gonna be fathead dough, and it's gonna be the same recipe that I use whenever I make pizza. And I will make sure I put the recipe in the description box below. But that's gonna be almond flour, mozzarella cheese, cream cheese, 1 egg, and then I'll add just a little bit of salt and garlic powder for flavoring. And then for the piggy part, and actually I have to say these are beef smokies, they aren't pork smokies, but we'll call them kolaches instead of pigs in a blanket. Or would I call them cows in a blanket? We'll call them kolaches. So these little smokies, and for all the keto police out there, I realize this is not 100% clean keto eating, but pigs in a blanket are fun, so we're gonna make them eat anyway. So little smokies, and then I also like to add some additional cheddar cheese into my kolaches. All right, in an effort to keep this video from going too terribly long, I've already pre-measured out my ingredients, and again, I'll put those specifics in the description box below. But we're gonna start out with 3/4 cup almond flour. I'm gonna mix that 7 ounces, and I do find that if I measure out the mozzarella cheese on a food scale, then I have a much better measurement of the mozzarella versus trying to smush it down into the cups. I'm gonna stir around the mozzarella and the almond flour just a little bit to get all the cheese coated with almond flour. And I'm gonna add 1 ounce of cream cheese. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this in the microwave for about 30 seconds. I'm gonna take it out and stir it, and then put it back in the microwave for another 30 seconds until everything is melted very well and is all one mixture. If you don't like using the microwave for this purpose, you can use a pan on the stove at a medium-low heat and just keep stirring until everything is melted together. But I'm gonna go take care of that right now. I'll be right back. This is after the first 30 seconds, and as you see here, it's still gonna be very crumbly and powdery from the almond flour. So I just wanted to show that to you real quick halfway through. This next 30 seconds is gonna get it very melty though. So I thought a full minute was gonna be enough, but it's still not quite as melty as I would like it. I still see a lot of almond flour bits in it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in for one more set of 30 seconds, which will be a total of 90 seconds once it's done. Okay, now I'm happy with it. Now it just looks like almost like a big ball of dough in the dish. And from here, I'm gonna add about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. And you can add whatever spices you want to this. It's really personal preference. And then I've already cracked the egg in here. I'm gonna add 1 egg to this, and this is gonna be the binding agent. And then I'm just gonna get this good and mixed together. And you want to do it fairly quickly. The dough is kind of hot, and you don't necessarily want to cook the egg right away into the dough. And so once it's mostly mixed and it's cooled off just a little bit, because you don't want to burn yourself, I am going to get my hands in here and get it squishing between my fingers to make sure it is fully mixed up. Make sure you take off all your rings. It's very hot and squishy, and it's kind of gross, but it's necessary to get it fully mixed through. And once it's done, you're gonna have just a nice ball of dough here. It's gonna be fairly sticky, and that's just gonna be part of it. This next section, I'm gonna kind of divide it up and roll it out almost if I was gonna do individual pizzas, but that's just gonna be prepping it for me to cut out the triangles to roll up the little smokies into what's gonna look like crescent rolls, because the original recipe for pigs in a blanket that I used to make called for crescent rolls, so I kind of wanna use the same basic shape as I'm making these to give it the same feel. I've got the dough divided up into 4 pieces, and that's just so it's gonna be easier to work with as I roll it out and cut out the pieces for the blankets, for the pigs in a blanket. I'm gonna bring the camera in a little bit closer so you can get a better look at what I'm doing. All right, I've got parchment paper down here and I've got a wet towel underneath it so it doesn't move around on me too much. And I'm gonna take 1/4 of the dough, balled up, and I'm almost gonna roll it out almost as if I was making a personal pizza. Now, just using a pizza cutter, I'm gonna divide this up into 8 sections. Now I'm gonna take one of these sections, and probably I can really sprinkle cheese over all of it a little bit. I'm gonna sprinkle cheese over the dough, and then I'm gonna take one of these Lil'l Smokies, and I'm simply gonna roll it up inside, and then I'll place it on the cookie sheet. And I'm gonna bake this at 400 degrees I'll probably start out just for 15 minutes and go from there. All right guys, I've got all of these rolled up. I'm going to bake them at 400 degrees. I'm gonna start out with 12 minutes and see how that does, but if it needs to take longer, I'll be sure to let you know. So I've got the piggies, or cows, in a blanket. They're in the oven right now. But while they're baking, I just wanted to come on real quick, and full disclosure, this is actually the first time I have tried to keto-fy this recipe. It's always been one of my favorite things to make, and now of course, long before keto, and even long before we started cleaning up our diet and getting rid of processed foods, which I know the Lil'l Smokies are processed, so that processing aside, before we started cleaning up our diet, I used to make these all the time with crescent rolls. Now, since going keto and seeing how versatile the fathead dough is, there's so many recipes that perhaps call for crescent rolls or some other kind of dough that I think will work great with the fathead dough, both sweet and savory. On my blog, I have a recipe for a sopapilla cheesecake. And if you're not from the South, and specifically Texas, you may not even know what that is. So I am gonna try to get a video of a sopapilla cheesecake on here pretty soon because it's amazing. And 1, to show you the recipe, but 2, just so I can have it to eat again. So anyway, since this is actually the first time I have made a keto-fied version of pigs in a blanket, I'm going to bring on my teenage son with me at the end of this video once they're ready to do a taste test on camera. And of course, him being the teenage boy in the house, he's really the final gauge on how good my cooking is on any recipe. And he's usually pretty honest with me if it's really good or if it's just kind of like, meh, it's all right. All right, guys, we only have a few minutes left, and then we'll get to test these puppies out, or piggies, or cows. Well, regardless of how they end up tasting, I can say they at least turned out amazing. But they can look good all day long, but if they don't taste good, then it doesn't matter. So as I said before, I'm gonna call my teenage son over and have him do the taste test.
Hello.
This is my son and fellow YouTuber, Kitsko. All right. Take a bite and tell me what you think.
You gotta do a cut, because I keep my brands out.
Oh. Okay, take a bite. What do you think?
It's good.
How's it compare to the other ones, the crescent roll ones?
Tastes the exact same.
Tastes the exact same? So, would you call it a winner? It's a winner. All right. He's out, he doesn't care. All right, guys, that is all I have for you today. Like I said before, I will link in the description box below this recipe. And then if you would like to check out any of my other recipes, don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you guys on the next video.